Hey, IceHogs fans, Mike Peck here, and we're here with the new voice of your Rockford IceHogs, Bob Mills, and it's time to get to know Bob here a little bit. And first off, welcome to the organization and to Rockford.
Thank you very much, Mike. Happy to be here.
Now, first question for you, Bob. Talk about your background a little bit and how you kind of got to Rockford.
Yeah, I went to school out in Bowling Green State University up there in Northwest Ohio. That's kind of where I got my start on the air. I've always been a hockey fan, and so I thought that would be kind of a fun way to stay involved with the game while I was at school, to get on the radio broadcast, and it just kind of developed from there. I got out of school. I was bouncing around the ECHL for a while with Gwinnett, Bakersfield, Chicago, and then most recently in Orlando.
Now, since this isn't your first transition to a new hockey team, how do you best make your way into a new organization and kind of feel your way out?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. You know what? I think the most important thing is to always go in with an open mind, and you don't want to take all of your preconceptions about previous jobs or previous organizations, and to certainly understand that everybody has a different way of doing things, and to be open to those new opportunities.
Now, maybe most importantly, describe your broadcast. What are the fans? What can they expect when they hear Bob Mills behind the mic here this season?
I like to think of myself as a high-energy type of broadcaster, not to the point of screaming into the microphone, of course, or being over the top, but the great thing about hockey is that it's such a fast-paced game, and it's so exciting on its own that as long as you can keep up with where the play is going, I think it makes for a really entertaining broadcast. So I'm certainly hoping to be able to get that from the ice surface out to the people tuning in.
Now, you grew up in Indianapolis, but you grew up a Chicago fan. Explain how this happens.
Well, both my parents are from Illinois. In fact, they grew up in Peru, just about an hour south of Rockford here. So my dad, of course, obviously always rooted for the Chicago teams, and so I grew up a Bears fan, a Blackhawks fan, a Chicago Cubs fan. I know that's always the dicey one in Chicago. Are you Cubs or White Sox?
Yeah.
So I grew up a Cubs fan, and it just kind of stuck with me.
And of course, you're a Chicago fan, so that means Bears, not Packers.
Right.
So that's a little dicey around here too,
Yes.
as you get a feel for the landscape in Rockford.
Oh, for sure. I mean, and the Packers have certainly gotten the better of the Bears over the last, 15 years or so. So I think the Packer fans have certainly had the edge in that battle.
Now, you're making the jump from the ECHL to the AHL. What are you looking forward to most about being here in Rockford in the American Hockey League?
Probably the overall style of play. You get to the American League level, and you've got so many more guys that are legitimate NHL prospects at this level than what you see at the ECHL. So I'm looking forward to seeing a higher quality of play on the ice. That on-ice speed certainly should be going up a little bit in comparison to what we saw out of the ECHL, and then also a chance to work a little bit more closely with the NHL teams. And we certainly do get a trickle-down effect of that in the ECHL, where occasionally you'll have a guy who is a legitimate NHL prospect that'll be down, and you'll have some coordination that you have to do with the NHL, but certainly here at the American League level, where a lot of what you do is really tied into what the NHL club is doing.
Now, on the personal side, you got a new baby at home.
Yeah.
So road trips are going to be a little different for you this year. You're going to be leaving behind not only the wife, but also a baby. How are you going to handle that?
It'll be interesting. I'm not sure how that first one is going to go. I'm sure by the time we get to the end of the year, it'll be old hat. This is what we're used to by now. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be pretty nerve-wracking going on those first couple of road trips and knowing you're not going to see the baby for 5-6 days, maybe, depending on how long the trip is. So.
All right, well, Bob, welcome to Rockford. It's great to have you here. And fans, you're going to hear a lot of this guy here coming up. Opening weekend, somewhere around October 9th. We do know October 17th
That's right.
will be the IceHogs home opener. So welcome, Bob, and thanks for the time here.
Thanks a lot, Mike.